So the big story this week is a potential price increase for the Nintendo Switch 2 based on this big AI infrastructure push, which is basically sucking up all the computer components needed to make a device such as the Nintendo Switch 2 or any other device like the Nintendo Switch 2 for that matter. And I'm not here to tell you this price increase isn't going to happen, and I'm not here to tell you it is going to happen. I'm here to tell you it doesn't matter if it happens, and there's multiple reasons why, and let's get into it. Number one, it's a level playing field. Everybody has to deal with this problem. Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, anybody who makes any type of device that needs these type of components is going to have this problem. And it's already rumored, and I think it seems like at this point it's a done deal. Sony is already delaying the PlayStation 6 for 2 years. So this is not something specifically that Nintendo has to worry about. This is why it doesn't matter if the Switch 2 prices go up, because if it does, every other price of every other console or device is going to go up as well. And again, with the PlayStation 6 looking like it's going to be delayed for 2 years, that just gives Nintendo 2 more years to build the brand of the Switch 2, regardless of what the price is, because everything is going to go up. But on to my next point, user base. Now, I've mentioned this in plenty of videos in the past, but the Nintendo Switch 2 has an excellent user base right now as we speak. Based on the last sales numbers that were released, we have a 15 million unit sell-through rate, and that's probably bigger now because these sales figures were over a month ago, but we'll just stick with it for now. 15 million people right now have a Switch 2 in their hands, and a 17 million total sales to the distributors and companies around the world, meaning that there's 2 million systems sitting on shelves where people can walk in and purchase them. So right there, we have 17 million units out there in the wild. If they stop production today, they have 17 million units available, which those are 17 million units that are going to be sold, that people are going to own, that are going to buy software. Nintendo is not hurting. Nintendo doesn't have to sell systems right now. Yes, of course, if they're making them, they need to sell them. But in a situation like this, to where they can't make these devices, they still have 17 million systems out there. We can still sell software. Third-party companies are still going to sell software. Nintendo has a lot of other irons in the fire. It's not the end of the world. Now, Nintendo also has systems warehouse. There's no way Nintendo had shipped out those 17 million systems and that was it. There's nothing out there, and they're waiting to produce systems. They have systems warehoused in the different manufacturer plants across the world. So this RAM shortage doesn't apply to those systems. Now, who knows? There's probably some type of metric somewhere that tells how many systems Nintendo still has warehoused that they can still sell without having to increase the price. I don't know what that is. I really don't care to look because I know how things work. I've been in this game long enough. I've been in the PC world long enough. We see shortages all the time. We see how long they last, how quickly we can recover. So based on all that, and based on the fact that I know Nintendo has systems warehouse somewhere, I don't think Nintendo's too worried about the short term. Now, of course, the long term, I see this lasting a couple years, and all the pundits in the component world, say basically it's going to be a couple years before we fully recover from this. So Nintendo does have a buffer to figure out what they're going to do, and maybe they will increase the price. But that user base is out there. They can sell all the systems have. My guess, they're going to hit at least the 20 million range before this component shortage really causes a problem. Now, game key cards, not game key cards. My mind goes right to that because, that's the big thing we're always bitching about. But game cards in general, that's some type of memory, flash memory. I don't know exactly what those use, but that's probably going to come into play as well. There's a great possibility these games might go up. No one's even talked about that yet. Game prices may go up 20%. It looks like 20% is the big number they're talking about here of an increase on anything that uses these devices, to compensate for that extra cost to get the devices. But what if you can't even get them? That's the question. So a price increase for the Nintendo Switch 2 does not matter. Yes, it might drop sales. People might not be able to afford it, but it's not going to matter because the same people aren't going to be able to afford the other devices as well. So Nintendo, it just gets 2 more years of having the Switch 2 being the only next-gen console out. Hell, this may work out better for Nintendo. If everybody's delaying their systems and Nintendo got their system out, and I mentioned this in the Nintendo, I think Nintendo is doing just fine, or the Switch 2 is doing just fine video. I mentioned the fact that Ironically, Nintendo getting their system out during this shortage or before this shortage could possibly help them. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. I don't think it's going to hurt Nintendo in any way, shape, or form. I think it's just going to be a wash because everybody else is going to be in the same boat. But what do you think? Do you think Nintendo's screwed? Do you think if the price is increased that you might as well just throw the Switch 2 out the window and it's going to be a failure and it's going to be the worst system ever? Or does it not matter? Leave something in the comments. Let me know. And I'll see you in the next edition of Switch 2 News Direct. Peace.